Hello, everybody. This is Dorje and Mario from Marduk's Muse, and we're here talking about the Trump inauguration 2025. What does it portend? What does it tell us about the upcoming 4-year presidential cycle? Will it be the last 4 years of a president? Is this the end of American democracy? We're going to examine the inauguration chart for clues. Will Trump fully take the reins, or is Trump actually reigned himself? Is he gagged and balled with someone else holding the puppet strings? Yes, I'm talking about a certain Elon Musk here. Well, let's start examining the charts and see um, which it will be. First, we'll pull up the Trump inauguration chart. But before we do that, let me pause for just a brief moment and ask Mario, do you have anything to say or do you have any insights for today's episode of Marduk's Muse?
So the chart looks real interesting. I've been looking at it. I had some asteroids, but not all of them were connecting there. But it looks real interesting. I'm gonna add in at the end the Trump inauguration as the gates that are active through human design, and I'll explain that and how you could compare your chart to it because you could look at it as how you will be doing under this particular imposition of, of a leader's kind of uh
Will.
will, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you go back
Oh,
all the way. You go
wow.
back all the way to Babylonian astrology. And within the context of that Babylonian astrology, then the fate of the king, the fate of the emperor, is the fate of the people. And I think it's kind of like interesting. Like you look at different presidents, and we tend to go through as a nation what they're going through within their own birth charts. So I think that still holds true. I encourage everybody to do their own research, or to consult a professional astrologer like Mario or me to see if that's true for you, but also to go over that. Anyways, I know Mario has a lot of recordings, interesting recordings, on his YouTube channel at Watcher of Worlds, and I have a lot of interesting blog posts on mundane astrology. So if you want to get deep, you can look into that. But for us, um, then the question that we're going to be asking here is, what does this inauguration hold for us? Um, and then, so I'm pulling up right here the inauguration chart, Trump inauguration
You
2025.
put it a little bigger.
Yeah, I can do that. Let's see. It's a little bit bigger. Get bigger. Um, there we go. So then the first thing I think to know is that this is a highly ritualized ceremony. The ritual of the voluntarily giving up the power and passing it on to someone else. Noon, January 20th, every 4 years. Happens like clockwork. Now, there are those who are predisposed to thinking that Trump might not do another election, or he might find some way around doing another election. I find that hard to believe. I mean, he might. It was that an electioneering kind of thing. But at the same time, he's like 78 years old. He'll be 82 next time around. I bet he'll be tired and he'll want someone to pardon him for all of his past misdeeds and sail off into the sunset. However,
Real quick,
however,
he's got a great Sith Lord in waiting. Vance's chart
uh,
is like mirror his.
Bance's chart mirrors his. That's true. That's true. And we do also have, as an inauguration kind of like little bonus, this kind of really kind of cool thing that it has never happened before in the US, which is in the 10th house, basically conjunct the midheaven, although out of sign, is the sun and Pluto, which is the symbol of the emperor, the symbol of the authoritarian emperor. The sun and Pluto conjunct in Aquarius. So does he see himself as an emperor? Is this going to be an imperial presidency? I think the indications are, at the very least, that Mr. Donald J. Trump wants it to be an imperial presidency by the presence of that Sun-Pluto conjunction at the highest point in the sky.
Wow. He's also an LAP, Pluto. He's the least aspected Pluto in his chart. So Pluto holds the most power. It wields the most power in his chart because it's not held down by the constraints of the geometry and aspects of the other planets. So his
Oh
own
yeah.
Pluto is super powerful. He was meant to wield power. This we cannot doubt. Um, I mean, power in regards as much as he has as a alkalite, to his but to the next level Sith Lord, you know what I mean.
Yeah, to the next level Sith Lord. You know that, so that's the most striking thing for me off of the inauguration chart. The other thing that's really striking is that we got this grand trine, between the midheaven, Uranus, and then the South Node. South Node in Virgo. The nodes have just switched into Virgo. If you want to learn more about that, you can go and look at the last episode of Marduk's Musing, where we talk extensively about the mundane uh, significations of the South Node moving into Virgo and the North Node in Pisces for the upcoming year. But this South Node trying the sun, trying the midheaven, trying Uranus. To me, this is trying to throw all of our kind of like modern new government kind of styles, our government by the people for the people, uh, into the past where the government wasn't necessarily by the people for the people, and it was more by the white Protestant male for the white Protestant male. I see this as like a kind of like a movement towards trying to rekindle those make America great again glory days of where there were just a few simple uh, uh, plutocrats who like made all the call, and it didn't matter what anybody else said. It's still, it's not that way now. Like there is a very strong public voice, and I think the beauty of the internet is we get to hear that voice a lot, and hopefully that will continue. With that South Node being in the last degree of Virgo, trying to retrograde Uranus and Taurus, I think that there's going to be a lot of resistance to the clawback of equal rights that the U.S. Still has. Um, you know. That being said, with Saturn conjunct Venus, I expect this presidency to continue to be a little bit difficult on the womankin folk in America, in the US. And we know it's been a little difficult. Trump did his best, and he took away the rights for women to control their uh, destiny of their own bodies to some degree. He achieved that by stacking the Supreme Court. The court itself is always represented as the ninth house in mundane astrology for a nation. That's got Mercury in Capricorn. That Mercury in Capricorn, 18 degrees, is a little bit trying the ascendant. To me, this is a conservative court, and I don't mean conservative in the sense of like uh, you know, um, like again, further eroding personal rights or human rights in the name of corporations. I mean that this is a court that it looks to me like it's going to actually check or rein in a little bit the the worst impulses of the president-elect Trump when he takes office. It looks like it's going to do that work. However, it is square. That Mercury is square the moon, and it is opposed to Mars in Cancer. So then there is this quality of taking away, I think, workers' rights that will be pushed by the court over the next 4 years, and will go against the president, the will of the people, and for the president and the plutocrats, or the tech tycoons, as one might call them, as they try to remake American society. The ruler Venus rules the ascendant, and again, it is conjunct leaving a conjunction to Saturn, but it's in Pisces. It has some good degrees. I mean, some uh, exaltation there in Pisces, one might say. So I don't think that it's just going to be bad news, whatever happens over the next 4 years. And another thing that I don't really see here, which surprises me, is I don't see in this inauguration a lot of warfare, because I would look to the ruler of the seventh for that, which is Cancer retrograde, and that might be pulling some troops home, pulling some money home, which Trump has said he's going to do. Which puzzles me a little bit because I know that China is like really kind of like gearing up their fleet to retake Taiwan. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. To me, this doesn't look like Trump goes and invades Greenland or invades Mexico or Canada. Um, that's just right off the top of my head. What do you see, Mario?
Oh, a couple things. Thanks. I'm going to go back to all those three aspects you covered. So I'm going to start with the Earth Grand Trine, where you were noting um, about um, the whole Make America Great Again slogan and kind of phrasing and energy of the past that he's trying to bring back to some degree. So I
Hmm.
wanted to know that these programs are still, these specific programs under that are still being supported and ideologically pushed on the populace. And that's number one is the Patriot Pacification Program. That's been quite evident, that
Mm,
we're going to pacify all the patriots and, real supporters are patriots. And here's your program. Here's how you think. Here's what to expect. Here's what you should do. Whole ideological kind of zombie framework for us to think, under a certain bracket and so type of programming. And also I've noticed in the public, especially with a lot of the influencers, a kind of support and push for Christianity to the extreme, like a
mm,
Christian Reich to be to have more and more like um, ideological supremacy and power, which of course is just going to
true.
create nothing but a polarity, right?
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
they're pushing, there's a push, there's an ideological push to have more extremes represented in public ideology so that there can be some kind of, um, what do you call it, tension and conflict between polar forces. That's what our leaders do so well, right? To create this kind of divide and conquer tactics. So those are two evident ideological pushes, and that's being kind of held up with that grand trine. And then you mentioned the Saturn conjunct Venus, more so kind of holding women down or oppressing. We know that the outer planets are going into all masculine signs,
Mm,
so that's going to
hmm.
help that push, unfortunately. And then you also noted, let's see, I think you noted the Mercury square, the moon. That's similar. That's a tension between what's on our minds, what we're looking at, and how we feel as a nation that wants to protect as people that want to protect ourselves and be safe.
Hmm. Yep.
And yeah, and you talked about that and then you talked about Venus leaving its conjunction. Was that with Neptune?
Saturn.
With Saturn. Okay. So it's moving away. And so you talked about you're not seeing warfare in this chart. And yeah, Trump's talked about pulling troops here and maybe even like we could see some of the wars maybe toned down or or yeah, it's hard to see, but in this chart it does seem like you're saying like there's not enough energy. We'd have to look at Trump's maybe chart with the inauguration. You know what I mean?
Mm, yep. Yeah, indeed.
He's that with it
Indeed. Well, it,
because he's going through a lot, like with his progress chart and his transits in terms of
yep.
himself.
I, I think you really keyed in on something there with the fundamentalist religion quality of it, and there's a lot of good in Christianity, but there's also factions of Christianity that are very controlling. And that moon square Mercury really, I think, speaks of that because the Mercury's in the ninth house of religion. And it's in Capricorn. That is a controlling speech, an attempt to control speech. Controlling what? Well, the moon represents the people in a mundane astrology chart, controlling the people, controlling, and so there's going to be a tension between that, between like, hey, this fundamentalist attempt to control, and then the people being like, no, we want to live a balanced, just, equitable life. I think that is part of what we are going to see as a tension through this current Trump term. Obviously, there's always tensions. However, I'm glad you brought up Trump's chart, and what I'd like to do is just pull up really quickly um, Donald Trump. Where are you, Donald Trump? Oh, you
Right there,
disappeared off of
right
me.
above Elon Musk, right there. There you go.
Oh yeah, Donald Trump. There you go. Um, so I just want to pull up quickly Donald Trump and the U.S. Sibley chart. Um, which one
Trump's
am
on
I
the
looking
outer.
for? Okay, so
Yeah.
so Donald Trump's Saturn is conjunct the Sibley chart's Mercury. And so for the Sibley, the Mercury is the 10th house, the house of the presidency. So, why is Donald Trump someone who's just got his fingers in control? And like, the liberal part of the nation, even the never Trumpers can't let him get him out, can't let him go. It's that Saturn conjunct Mercury. Like he has that kind of like control of that. But what's even more interesting to me is if we you got to remember that Donald Trump himself is a uh, Mars person. He's got Mars conjunct the ascendant. He's a very Mars person, and the Mars for the Sibley is conjunct the North Node. Like he of the Sibley chart. I mean, Mars, the Sibley Mars is conjunct the North Node of his chart. He sees himself as a manifest destiny experience of the nation. But not only that, as we go to now, then another thing that you'll notice is that you'll notice that for the inauguration, let's see, I'm going to remove this here and pull this here. I'm going to pull up the inauguration chart recently used, Trump inauguration 2025. That Mars person is exactly conjunct Mercury, the Sibley Mercury. So the wrathful, out of control, caring, tender, sensitive, yet at the same time beastly figure of Trump as president conjuncts the Mercury of the Sibley chart for this inauguration. So Trump is this wrathful, out of control male Mars with a big red face, uh, expecting the place of the ruler of the nation on the inauguration. I just find that completely amazing, completely amazing.
Yeah, well, it'll be fascinating to see it in the speech to decode, and discern what he's at, because they'll say it directly. He's already been doing it. Imagine
Yeah.
inauguration speech is going to be so direct with precise adjectives, for or just very just precisely what he wants to carry out, and it'll this will be a summary of it, you
Yeah,
know.
for sure, for sure. And I mean, the last inauguration speech ended up being called the American Carnage speech because all he did was, I mean, a large part of the speech was him talking about how horrible America is and how broken America is, rather than like a vision for what it could become. He was like, there's crime in the streets, there's, the hooligans are running amok, destroying everything. It's maybe he has a little projection there. I don't know, but recently used. So we're gonna pull up Trump again here. So this is Trump versus the inauguration day. What do you see here? What do you see?
Okay, so he's on the outside. So we got his moon on the south node.
Yeah, Yeah. So we've got Uranus conjunct his midheaven, which has been going on for the last year. And that's kind of like the changing of fortunes. Looks like he's going to win, doesn't look like he's going to win, looks like he's going to win, doesn't look like he's going to win, and then he wins. But that Uranus isn't done changing the fortunes, which is interesting. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's pretty right on. I mean, that's sudden changes, sudden shifts. And that's on the public stage. And we've been seeing this even with the assassination attempts. Those are sudden, intense experiences, right, of Mars energy. And
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, is
Yeah.
that even going to stop? I mean, his progress and his transits don't support that stopping. I mean, they're just as volatile and they add layers of Scorpio and Plutonic energy. I think his progressed ascendants in Scorpio, his progressed Pluto's like in the 10th house. Like there's layers of tension with power and sudden shifts of energy and sudden violent shifts of energy. It's all still there. Not violence
Yep.
per se, but just sudden, you know what I mean? Just sudden changes. So yeah, that's a lot. And then let's see what his Mars and Pluto is doing in reference to the inauguration chart. So he's on the outer
Yeah.
mid.
He's on the outer. Do you want me to switch that?
No, that's fine. I
Um,
can see it. Yeah,
Yeah, so let's see what that Pluto is sextile Jupiter, sextile. So again, like yes, you're right. I 100% agree with you. This is going to be a dark speech. Pluto sextile Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. Um, then his
right.
Venus and Saturn conjunct Mars in the third house of the speech writer. Like he's just like he wants to unlay. He wants to like you
Unload.
know, vomit his grievances once again, and we're going to experience that through the whole 4 years. That's just something, you don't want to experience it, then unplug and deplug from social media and news, people. America will survive,
There,
but,
there
but,
is there's some talk. We know this that there's some astrologers and some also some people that do calendrics and other things that are suspecting that there could be a shift in presidency, like somehow Vance could become, president. So it's just interesting because with
I've been hearing that
Uranus
a lot. Yeah.
on the midheaven, we don't know. I mean, there could be a sudden surprise. I don't know in what form. I don't think uh there'll be more assassination attempts, but there's sudden shifts still present with that Uranus right there on the midheaven. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, no, I think so. I think there's still sudden shifts to come, sudden surprises about what this is all about. And it's interesting. Like if we just check out Elon Musk versus Donald Trump, you know. Well, on one level, I think like Elon Musk is on the inside wheel here, Donald Trump's on the outside wheel. So Elon Musk's sun, 5 degrees Cancer, Donald Trump's Mercury, 8 degrees
Oh
Cancer.
man.
So Donald Trump is the voice for Elon
Yeah.
Musk's
Voice
intentions.
voice for the emperor.
Voice for the emperor. Yeah, like maybe Donald Trump. I mean, Elon Musk is a true emperor, but this really intrigues me. So we come over here. We have Elon Musk. He has Mars conjunct his um, south, I mean, North Node in Aquarius. This is that
Right.
push for technology,
Yeah.
but it's opposing Trump's Leo Mars. So I do think that Elon Musk has a vision for the whole, and Trump has a vision for himself. He's always fighting for himself in a certain way, and these two things are they're gonna butt heads. When
Yeah.
you have Mars opposite Mars, there is no way that you don't like butt heads.
Yeah. No,
And
that's right on.
one thing that was announced today is Elon Musk is going to get an office in the White House. So
What?
yeah, he's getting an
This
office in the White
speculation. I
House.
don't think that would really happen
No,
because
he is. He's getting an office for his
we'll see.
office of
We'll see. I don't buy
Doge.
that one until I see it,
Ah, okay, we'll see.
Biden,
No,
and
no,
then I can
it
see
was
it.
announced. I'll see. You guys can all go look it up. The links are
Come
there.
back
So,
here.
so that's there. And then they also have the moon and sun opposition and nodal opposition of Donald Trump is loosely, but it is there, squared by Elon Musk's Pluto and Virgo. So then that's that drive, that power of driving Donald Trump. Like Elon Musk, I think knows how to get into Trump's head and drive him. I think that's just out of curiosity. Would you be okay looking at the inauguration and Elon Musk?
Yeah, that's no, that's weird. But how? Like, see if he shows up somehow.
Yeah, yeah. Let's
Oh,
see.
yeah,
Let's
his
see if he's.
experience of it. Yeah, yeah, you're right. No, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah.
He's
Let's
a
see. Let's not seeing too much here. Inside the inauguration. Um, yeah, not seeing too much driving there. Us. Do you see anything that sticks out?
I see the North Node in Aquarius. No, it's too far from. It's still in Aquarius, so it's allowing in the Pluto Sun because
Hmm.
Mars. I mean, it's a far. It's a wide conjunction, really wide, but it's still a conjunction. But as far as anything else, South Node Pluto.
The South Node. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Uh,
Pluto on the nodes. Sure. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, on the South Node again, trying to walk everything back.
Almost trying to. Well, we got the South Node in
Because
Virgo.
Virgo is also the workers. Virgo in mundane astrology, Virgo is the workers. So that Pluto is like trying to take away workers' rights. I do think that's one of the big agendas of
Oh,
Musk is
for sure.
taking away
Yeah,
workers'
that's
rights.
it. Right, right.
Yeah,
And also taking away work.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the son of the inauguration trine, Elon Musk's Saturn. So in the second house, which so then also like just trying to enrich himself as much as possible for his own agenda of reshaping mankind and the nation.
Yeah, that's a good catch
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So do you have any human astrology you wanted to share?
Yeah, yeah. Let me share a human design chart and we can go into that a
I
little.
mean, yeah, human design. Yeah,
If anyone has a human design, if their own human design chart, it's great to pull it up in comparison that the chart I'm going to share, because that can illuminate for you what your experience of being under our new Sith Lord will be like. So let me share. Such a dance to share. So these are going to be the human design transits. Can you guys see it? Can you see it, Dorje?
not yet, not yet.
Select it. So let's see if this goes through. Oh, there we go. Okay. Can you guys see it?
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay.
I can't see the bottom yet.
I don't,
There we go.
I don't know if I can make it. I guess I can make it smaller. I don't know why it's so big. Oh yeah, there I can do it right there. Okay. It's better now.
Yep.
Okay. So if you guys out there have your human design chart, feel free to pause this video, pull it out, and see what this inauguration speech and the energy of this agenda, how it will affect you in the coming 4 years or however long its impact is. What you'll notice is on this day of the inauguration, we have the North Node in gate 36. That's over here. I'm not showing on the screen what the gates are exactly tied to in terms of the planets in the nodes, so I'll just explain. So we have the North Node here in gate 36 right here. And this is the gate of emotional crisis and intensity. And it's connected to the 35, which means it's the channel of transitoriness. And that means that the energy needs to keep moving and be shifting and needs to keep busy and active and moving about. And Trump's like that in general. He's a manifesting generator. And
Hmm.
he needs to move about his energy. He needs to go through this, go through that. He's obviously very emotional too. He has emotional authority. So he's comfortable with this energy. But are we comfortable with this energy? We've had Neptune here for the last 3, 4 years in this gate,
Hmm.
and it'll be moving into gate 25 in March. So that'll be a shift. But this is the imprint of the inauguration. So we have only one channel defined, Dorje, just one. And that's this channel of transitoriness, which again is an emotional energy that's constantly looking for culmination, for process, for mutation, emotional transference and mutation, getting through whatever dark emotional storms may be appearing. And the south node is here in gate 46, and that's in Virgo. And so again, the energy, not just for the Ray of New Year, which is 2 days later, but for this whole time period of Trump's, it'll be a time where the energy is going to flow really quickly and intuitively. And we won't have that much time to reflect.
Hmm.
Things will just happen because that's a direct manifestation channel from the emotional solar plexus to the throat. And throat in human design is how we manifest things. So when you have a direct channel to the throat, in other
Hmm.
words, it's a manifestor chart. So when you have a direct channel to the throat, then manifestation happens really quickly. And so this is a chart that's showing that things are going to be moving really quickly. And we have to be ourselves, I feel, in response to this, or well, in response to this, yeah, we're going to also be making our own decisions quickly and intuitively.
Hmm.
We won't have the time to self-reflect so much,
Hmm.
to overthink things. We have to put that aside with Pisces on the North Node in this chart as well, as happening for the next 2.5 years. That's where we can be with, this energy that's coming in. Any reflections on that, Dorje?
No, I mean that makes sense. I just have a curious question there. You said that the North Node, right, is moving over to this channel 25.
Correct.
Does that mean that there'll be more capacity to access our hearts?
See, that's a brilliant question because of the heart, right? Because of the heart ego center and the G center.
Hmm.
So, okay, so what it is that gate 25 will actually be activated. Right now, it's activated by Neptune. So Neptune's
Hmm.
already there. Um, so gate 25 is actually it is universal love. It's a
Oh,
love gate,
beautiful.
personal
Yeah.
love gate. But however, one thing to keep in mind is on May 25th, Saturn will go into gate 25, and Saturn will restrict
Hmm.
universal love and compassion.
Uh-oh.
So Saturn,
I don't like hearing that.
what's that?
I don't like hearing that.
I know it's a real rough thing because Saturn will be there with Neptune. Neptune will expand that, and Saturn will either make that a reality or it will restrict it. Let's put it that way. Let's have a perception on it and see what actually occurs. Because Saturn
Mhm.
solidifies things. So the mist that Neptune creates, the feel-good mist that Neptune may create over us, it's kind of cosmic, kind of ocean that we swim in. We'll see if Saturn will solidify that or if Saturn will restrict it and give it boundaries and contain it and limit it and limit us from compassion. And hopefully not, hopefully it'll be the other way.
Yep.
We'll have to observe and see.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's beautiful. So there you have it, people. This is the rundown of the um, inauguration chart from the perspective of the astrology and the human design. I think we covered a lot of ground there. Just stay on the positive side. I do think that sometimes it's really good to shake up some institutions, and maybe some institutions for the United States are going to get shooken up, and maybe we'll get things like high-speed rail, and maybe we'll get like some technology moving forward that might have been a little bit stuck just because of institutional inertia. Trump and Elon, they both like breaking things and moving quick. So maybe we'll see that. Yeah, that's the positive side, positive spin, and maybe there'll be less war. Maybe there'll be less war, which is also very positive from the chart.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds and perhaps it'll be to some extent our experience of this period will be in such a way that we can move and observe and not react because as we approach the 2027 cross of the sleeping phoenix, more and more structures are going to come down, but
Mm,
they'll be replaced with new ones. And, depending where we're all at with that, that could be that's just what's happening, you know. And I think it'll
yep,
be relative to where all each of us are in our maturity and who we are and what we're aligning with. I mean, I'm more seeing than anything else a breakaway civilization because there's two fundamental choices that are coming up at that Aries world degree. And those two choices are Saturn or Neptune. And Jupiter squaring those two in mid-year is going to put the question to us to decide in which
yep.
direction.
Yeah, beautiful. Well said. Well said. Well, thank you, everybody. And again, it's Dorje from Heart Astrology and Mario from Watcher of Worlds. And we look forward to seeing you next week as we do part 3 of our Year Ahead series.
All right, you guys, thanks so much. Thanks, Dorje.